Hello everyone, welcome into this week's my weekly CBS Fix. In this week's Parshas Tazriah, the Torah tells us that when a woman gives birth, Isha ki Tazriah v'yalda zachar, when a woman gives birth and she'll have a male, she'll be impure for 7 days, and then on the 8th day, Yimar b'sala Allah, so she has to have the child circumcised. So I was wondering, why does the Torah need to again tell us about circumcision? It should have continued to talk about what it talks about after that. She'll be impure for 7 days, and then on the 33rd day, she'll have to bring the following sacrifices. And if it's a girl, 14 days, and 80 days later, 66. So the question is, why does the Torah feel a need over here at this point to interject with the fact that on the 8th day, she should have that child circumcised, especially if the Torah had already mentioned it when it came to Abraham? Hashem already gave the mitzvah over there, so what's the need for her? What's the connection? So very briefly, it's a deeper concept, but based on the teachings of Rabbi Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, he explains that there's really two things being celebrated when a child is born. So when a child is born, the birth itself is certainly a happiness. Just go ask any mother who's had a child. Yet, at the same time, there's an element of tumah. There's an element of contamination. Contamination kind of means closed off. There's a vacuum. There was a moment of holiness, and when holiness is replaced, that is what contamination in Judaism actually is. And so therefore, when the child is born, there's certainly a happiness that there's potential over here, but at the same time, then that 8th day comes. And what's the 8th day? The 8th day is kind of like a repetition of the first day, kind of like in music, as a matter of fact. There's 7 keys of music. There's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then do. Now, if we were to sing that, indulge me for a second. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So both do's, do, do. It's the same sound, just on a different octave. And the days of the week are the same as well. The first day that the child is born, there's celebration. However, it's within a period of contamination. When that 8th day comes around the second time, it's like a second lap, a different octave. So now we are infusing that child with holiness as well. And so for the connection to the first day and the 8th day is that there's two areas of happiness. But the first area is only a happiness of kind of, here we have this child. But the second level is, now we're going to bring this child that he actually is born for his Jewish mission. And so therefore, that's the connection. There's a time of Leda, there's a time of Toma, there's a time of contamination, and there's also a time of actual Kedusha upon which we live for a higher purpose and get out of that. I just want to share one other thing. Another proof that the Torah must be divine is because in 1935, scientists discovered that vitamin K was not present in the baby at all. It's not present at all. In days 5 to 7, the body starts to produce vitamin K. Now, on the 8th day, and only the 8th day, not the 30th day of its life, not the first year of its life, not the 70th year of its life, there is all of a sudden an influx of vitamin K. Now, vitamin K is very, very essential. It helps the blood coagulate. It helps the blood freeze, helps the blood dry up. And it reaches 110% vitamin K on the 8th day. Now, nobody could have understood why Hashem told us to do the bris milah specifically on the 8th day. But now science has given us a little glimpse into why Hashem is all genius and all-knowing. And on the 8th day that the circumcision is done, there's plenty of vitamin K into the body. Today, in the hospitals, they already inject children with vitamin K. But nevertheless, Hashem was taking care of us all these years before there was vitamin K. And that's why Hashem specifically said on the 8th day. Now, of course, if a child is not healthy, you can't bring your child for the 8th day, then certainly it could be delayed. But there's enough vitamin K in the body at the same time if it had to be done on the 9th day and the 10th day. But we see, though, that the body itself produces up to 110% vitamin K. So on the 8th day, so it's impossible for any human being to have known that exact scientific reason behind it. Of course, that's not the reason why we do it. We trust in Hashem. But these little tidbits give us little smiles from Hashem, as if we know we can trust in Hashem. So if Hashem gave us this, there's many other things one day in the future scientists will find out why Hashem said to do it. But right now, we can relish in the fact that we do have this Torah. So just a couple of thoughts on the parasha. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing, amazing Shabbos.